So I just wanted to share some thinking with you that I've recently been doing on my social strategy, and hopefully this can help a little bit with the understanding of growing your own social audience. So a bit of background first. I've been writing on social media since about October. Well, actually I've been on social for years. I was on Instagram. I wasn't really getting much traction. I got stuck at about 2,000 followers and then just basically plateaued and was unable to grow any further audience or even to transform that audience into sales. I basically just hit the wall, and eventually what I did was I actually just moved to LinkedIn, and just that move made a huge difference. I think the intent is different. On Instagram, people were there to be entertained, and on LinkedIn, people are there to do work and to grow a business. And I think that was the main difference in moving to LinkedIn. Also, the changing content. Instagram was primarily visual, it's a lot of video, and my best strengths are in writing because I don't have a face for video or images, so basically my writing is my strongest point, and I found when I moved to LinkedIn, I just started getting results. I moved in about October, and very quickly I started to grow quite significantly. What I found was I basically went viral in February, and after that viral post, suddenly my engagement and my impressions just dropped off a cliff, and I went almost back down to zero again. Where you see a dip like this in your stats, a lot of people just give up because they're so exhausted from writing every day, and now they're not getting results. I don't have to write every day because I've got a content library that I can remix to produce different types of posts from the same content. So the first thing to know is that on Life by Design online, I publish articles and I basically write about running a six-figure solo business or a lifestyle business as we call it. These are my writing, these are my ideas, this is my whole content ecosystem. I write long form, I write long term, I plan to keep publishing for years, and I turn these articles into short form content for social. Most people tend to write on social and then repurpose for other social channels. If you ask me, that's a very short term view because the content you write in social dies very quickly, and all that effort you put into that social post is wasted. In this video, how I basically write in intermediate packets, which can then be reused and repurposed as a social post. I can just take chunks out of my newsletter to use as social posts, and again, I build up a constant library of all of my writing. And I also repurpose this recording, for example, will probably turn into a YouTube video. So each time I write an article on the site, basically what I want you to do is go into the article and take out snippets from what I've written. So each article is about 1,000 to 2,000 words, as you'll see. Now that really is enough content to produce at least 3 and usually about 4 or 5 high quality copywritten posts for social media with almost no editing needed. So basically what I do is what you want to do is go back to the post content and just start to pick out paragraphs that you can use. You know, hopefully, if I've done my job correctly, the way that these posts are written is that you should be able to really take a chapter of the post, and that's basically that you can take that and create and edit it down a little bit into a post for LinkedIn, for example. But usually in there's small sections you can pick out as a post. So for example, that would be an example of a post we could pick out, or that would be an example of a post we could pick out, all the way down to there. Usually between each heading there should be a sort of self-contained point or a self-contained story from start to finish that you can use as a post. So just as an example from this one, this article is about work-life balance not really being possible. The key point is that work-life balance is not an actual balancing or separation of tasks, it's more of an integration between your work and your life. And if you're going to do something with purpose, you usually have to let something else slide in order to do that. You can't do it all. So, you know, if you want to grow your business, it means your personal life has to take a back seat for a little bit. And then you can be balanced, and maybe next quarter you're going to focus on having a bit more time and not driving the business. And that's really what this post is about. Later, basically, what I do is I copy the paragraph that I want to repurpose into a post, and I literally just copy and paste it into a new LinkedIn post. So you'll see here, this one is taken from. So you'll see here, this post is taken directly from the article. So you'll see here, this is actually lifted directly from the post, and it's literally just been copied and pasted in to the post. What you will notice is that I've shortened it quite drastically. So really what you have to do is go in and delete paragraphs that don't make sense. Make sure that the formatting is right. So generally in my posts I like to have this pattern of controversial statement to start with, and then have a new line, and then I usually have 3 lines, and I like to have this rhythm of 3 lines, 1 line, 3 lines, 1 line, and you'll see short, long, and you'll see that pattern down the post, which makes it easier to read. And I basically add in line spacing, again just to make it much easier to read. And basically just repeat it. You know, go through the post again. Right, I've done that bit. There's another post. Set directions, not goals. That could be a post. So really, I'm just picking out whatever I can from the post, trying to break it up into multiple posts. Seven posts on LinkedIn, repurposed. That took me about 10 minutes. 7 posts in 10 minutes is pretty good. And that's really it. The quality is important. It's obviously important to go through all the posts and make sure they read like a LinkedIn post. Do not just copy and paste. You've got to read it through again and make sure it all makes sense. And the last action to take is to copy them into the social folder. But it's really important that you take this last step. And the reason for this is that the social post folder is a library of all of my content that I've ever made. A database on ClickUp where I have literally every post that I have ever written. If I want to quickly rewrite a post to do with consistency, I can come into my content library and I will find 30 or 40 posts all about consistency. There's Q&As, I can sort them by Reel, by Instagram, by LinkedIn, by post template, by format. I can find really well written, high quality posts that I can repurpose, and that is the core of what we're about to do just now. So all my newsletter posts are saved in here as well, and again I regularly copy and paste intermediate packets from here. This, for example, is an email that I wrote to Ali Abdal about his recent video on reading every day, and basically that email that was quite a long email going back and forth. I turned that into a newsletter. And the other thing that I do is I also publish these on my website as evergreen content, just in terms of helping me rank the blog. If I ever get asked a question by a solopreneur, I add them onto my own website as an answer, so that any freelancer, if they ask me a question, can basically go to my website, get an answer. If someone asks me, should I quit my job, I send them this. They ask me how do I spot red flags with clients, I'll send them to this. And I use this in my coaching as a tool all the time. If, for example, a client asks me how to improve their sales, I'll send them to this link. It's as simple as that. That's how we repurpose the content that's on this site into LinkedIn posts. Mostly gone over how to repurpose the newsletters into posts, and what I've been doing recently is tightening up on the structure that we use to create the posts. So I have a bit of a framework every time I want to write a new post, so that when I'm sitting looking at my newsletter, I'm not stuck of what I should write. I should know why I'm writing or why I'm repurposing and what I'm repurposing for every day. Now this is just a rough guide, you don't have to stick to it 100%, but what it does is give us a framework of what we should be posting in each day. So the idea here is that we write a newsletter once a week, and that produces basically 7 posts for the whole week. That's the whole content strategy. So 1 post equals 1 week's of content, and of course I'll be writing every week, so it works out 1-to-1 in terms of relationship. Now this won't be strictly true in that we will be doing some repurposing of posts and reposting of successful posts, and additionally we'll also be writing sales posts into a nice easy table so it's easy to understand. So we've got the days of the week, we've got the post template to use, which I'm going to explain in a wee minute, and then we've got the goal of the post as well, which I'm also going to explain, and finally we've also got the funnel, explaining what stage the customer is at, whether they're ready to buy, whether they're a beginner or an expert. If they're ready to buy, they're at the bottom of the funnel. If they're a beginner and they're just becoming aware of my content, they're at the top of the funnel. That changes the way we speak to them as well. Sales posts would be bottom of the funnel, general awareness and growth content would be top of the funnel, and the authority and value building posts would be middle. So the 4 post types that we've got is growth content. These are like personal stories that basically help me connect with new prospects and helps establish a connection with them. Relate content, this is about building relationships and basically hitting emotional levels where people go, oh, that's me, that connects with me, that resonates. That's only 10% of my content. The vast majority of my content is still going to be authority building content, so 40% is going to be about providing value, about solving common problems that my audience are having or that I'm having at the moment. And the last 20% is going to be sales content, which is basically proof of results, testimonials, client case studies, and examples of my coaching and courses. So that's the strategy. I've gone into quite a lot of detail in the types of posts that I'm going to do. I've now got a schedule for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this is my newsletter template, which I've also just updated. So this is how I start writing any newsletter. I have a template where I will A/B test headlines. I have a thumbnail, an excerpt, the content framework, which I'll write as an outline and then go back in and fill in the blanks. Key takeaway, daily reminder, a take action, there's a lead magnet heading in various fields, the hooks, and what you'll see I've added is at the bottom of the newsletter template that I use, I've now added the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday posts. So once I've written my newsletter with my 2 hours on a Wednesday, what I'm going to do is basically go through and also write the posts, which is going to take me a wee bit longer on the day, but I'm going to do it while it's fresh in my mind. It means I've got the week of content always in advance. I'm usually scheduled at least a month in advance anyway, so that if I have a bad day or if I get sick, my content doesn't stop. I don't feel the need to be on social all the time because I know I'm scheduled a month in advance, which is a huge load off my mind and it helps me avoid burnout. But the main thing now is I have structure. So I have a post for each day, I have a post template to use, and I have a post purpose, so I know why I'm writing that post. Whereas before, I was sort of writing at random. So this one I've done 3 posts, sorry. On another one I might have done 2, another one I might have done 5, and there was no order to it. I was just writing them as they occurred to me from the content, so there was no structure to why I was writing the post, what was the goal of the post. But what I want to do is bring in that structure into my posting pattern. And this is a system which holds me on track over the long term, because if I don't have a system in place, I'll just go willy-nilly and do whatever occurs to me. So I hope that helps in terms of giving you a little bit of motivation in terms of developing a system for your social content, and just in terms of motivation, remember you're always going to have down points. I am by no means an expert on social media. I'd say I'm quite far behind. I've only been writing for 6 months properly, so I just have to manage my expectations. I was on Instagram for years. I'm going to be on LinkedIn for years. It's going in the right direction overall. If I look at the overall stats, it's just I'm in a bit of a hump the last couple of months, but I do expect that's going to turn around. I just need to test stuff, see what works, double down on it. And of course, I'm a huge fan of building in public, so this video is me building my business in public. I'm going to share this on LinkedIn, you'll probably see it. It's also going to be on my YouTube. I'd encourage you to check it out. I've only just started building on YouTube as well. How I work a 3-day work week, how to avoid overwhelm as a solopreneur, how to unstick yourself and manage your productivity, masterclasses on how to design your life. There's all sorts of good stuff on there.